What do you call Batman and Robin after they've been run over by a steamroller? Flatman and Ribbon. Welcome to Lassoed Volume 290. This is an all upgrades video. You know, in recent videos like Lassoed Volume 287, I showed you an X-Men comic book that I upgraded. Today's video is all full of comic books that I've loved so much that I needed to get better condition copies for the permanent collection. So that's what we're sharing. They're so good, I bought them again. Included in today's video is some Marvel, some DC, including Supergirl, whose movie is coming out this week. So let's get started with her. These first two books probably need a better bag and board, but I'll take care of that soon. Phantom Zone, Volume 1, Issue 2 from 1982. This was a 4-issue limited series. Gene Colan does the cover and interior art. Steve Gerber is the writer. I'm not going to talk about the specifics of this issue because last November we featured the 4-issue mini on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review as one of our Retro Reviews, so you could watch the rewind on that. But I do have distinct memories of seeing this comic book on the spinner rack and knowing I had to have it when it said Wonder Woman was inside as a guest star. It had many of my favorite characters guest starring: Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Batman, Zatanna, and of course Supergirl front and center. And I also have specific memories of buying this and being at my grandparents' house right after buying it, sitting on this specific chair, looking through and enjoying this comic book. This is a very inexpensive comic book, so it was easy for me to upgrade. And like I said, with all the wear and tear my original had, it needed an upgrade. I never bought the Phantom Zone issues 1, 3, or 4, but later on I ended up getting those collected in a trade paperback and really enjoyed the full story. It also had some other appearances with the Phantom Zone, like from DC Comics Presents and stuff too, included in there. The Supergirl movie is coming out this week. Are you as excited as I am? I just want it to be a good movie. Speaking of Supergirl, I featured Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow as the back issue of the week, issue number 1. That short dropped yesterday morning. If you haven't had the chance to check it out, I certainly hope you'll do so. And I thank you for your support of my back issue of the week, which I thoroughly enjoy doing. Supergirl remains front and center on the cover of Superman Volume 1, Issue 365, published in 1981 with Ross Andru cover artist. Cary Bates is the writer, and we got some good old Curt Swan Superman interior artwork here. So the Superman Revenge Squad subjects Supergirl to radiation that drains her energy and makes her insane and sleep deprived. It masks it with the effect of Virus X. So that's what Superman thinks that she has, Virus X. And he's able to cure the Virus X, but her insane behavior continues, which stumps him a little bit. He's able to shrink her down and then get help to paralyze her to end up curing her. In this issue, there's a letter to the editor from Todd McFarlane, one pre-industry Todd McFarlane, talking about Superman issue 360 with the editor. Speaking of Virus X on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review earlier this month, we had Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe on, and she wanted to do a Virus X story arc that came from Action Comics. I think that was either very late Silver Age or beginning of the Bronze Age. So you can watch that on the rewind and learn more about the Virus X and the good time that we have on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. It's the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, which you can find at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central every Sunday night here on my YouTube channel. Okay, if you know anything about me, you know red jumpsuit Donna Troy is my jam. And here she is front and center with Firehawk on the Fury of Firestorm, issue 42, a Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Gerry Conway, the writer of this. I think that putting Firehawk and Wondergirl together is very odd because I don't associate the two characters together. I think that Fury of Firestorm readers were probably wondering where their man was, because I don't think Firestorm appears in any panel at all within this issue. Like, he is completely MIA from his own comic book. So in this issue, Firehawk and Wondergirl's meeting with Tomahawk and Dan Hunter takes place around New York Harbor circa August of 1776, just prior to the Battle of Long Island. So there's a lot of time displacement going on in this issue. I love it just because Donna Troy gets her turn to shine in the spotlight. So another issue that was well worn in my original collection and needed an upgrade. Another cheapo issue too. Found this in the dollar bin books and probably paid even less than $1 after a sale or a discount that was going on. Here we have the Batman family, starring in this Detective Comics issue 582 from 1979. So Dick Giordano does the cover, Denny O'Neil is the writer on the Batman story, Don Newton's the interior artist on the Batman story. So Maxie Zeus's gang member ends up getting murdered, but Maxie Zeus is still in jail, so Batman goes to investigate what the heck happened to this guy. Then we have many other stories as well, including Batgirl, who finds that Killer Moth is back aiding criminals and helping them escape. There's a really good story with Robin and the Scarecrow. I like that a lot. You know, a core Batman villain taking on Robin without Batman. And we find out that one of Scarecrow's biggest fears is Batman himself. Alfred is a storyline. This is at the time that they were living in the Wayne Tower, and there was even a Batcave in the basement. Well, these people are able to get into the private elevator with Alfred and want to ransack the goodies and what they can steal from Bruce Wayne's apartment complex. And there's also a human target story. I think that you might know this if you're a diehard Magic Lasso channel viewer, but I love my Batman family. I have all of the issues of their own title, and that title was so successful that DC Comics almost canceled Detective Comics because Batman Family was outselling. But some writers said, no, you can't do that. Batman, debuted in Detective Comics. That's his legacy title. So they convinced them to just cancel Batman Family, even though it was a well-selling series, and just move them over into Detective Comics. So that heritage title didn't have to end up being canceled. Probably a smart decision overall. And I have all the Detective Comic era stories with the Batman family and all of the Batman family stories too from their own title. So, big Batman family fan. I like the Superman family too. And I quite often wonder, back then and even still now, why my girl Wonder Woman didn't get my own Wonder Woman family type title. You know, I would have loved that. Going to show some Justice League of America right now. We have JLA, Volume 1, Issue 159. This is from 1978. Rich Buckler doing the cover, Jerry Conway as the writer, and longtime JLA artist Dick Dillon, interior art. This is called Crisis from Yesterday. And I love right in the beginning, the JLA and JSA, they have their yearly team up, and they're going out to dinner at Club 22. Which I think is a spin-off of the famous Club 21 in New York City that I've often heard of but never been to. Our JLA in this issue are Superman, Hawkman, Elongated Man, and Flash, with the JSA being Wonder Woman, Huntress, Dr. Mid-Nite, and Star Spangled Kid. And you could tell by the cover that we have some interesting characters from the past. We have Viking Prince, Jonah Hex, Enemy Ace, Miss Liberty, and Black Pirate. There's also a full-page splash in the course of this issue that really almost kind of depicts the cover too. And I can remember picking this up as a kid and going, oh, look, Wonder Woman's costume has tears in it. She's been in a big battle. And very, very much have I reread this comic book, my original copy, when I was a child. So it deserved this upgrade that it received. And another JLA comic book is issue 180 from 1980. Jim Starlin the cover, Jerry Conway still the writer, Dick Dillon still the interior artist. So most of the JLA goes to Satan's penthouse and battles a fire demon. They later discover that the Satan is at a discotheque holding Firestorm captive, so they have to head over there. Our JLA in this issue is Batman, Black Canary, Firestorm, Green Arrow, Red Tornado, Superman, and Zatanna. So this was very early on after Firestorm joined the JLA rank membership. Speaking of JLA, I'll have a JLA versus Avengers episode coming up with John's Comics with Friends. If you're watching this on its original air date of June 23rd, it's going to be tomorrow night, Wednesday, June 24th at 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern here on my channel. It rotates between my channel and John's channel each month. This month we're looking at Justice League of America issue 23 from the Silver Age and Avengers Volume 1 issue 23 from the Silver Age, and deciding which one had the better issue 23. It's a lot of fun. You can join us in the chat and help us make the decision of who had the better issue as we break it down from different categories and stuff. If you're watching this video after Wednesday, June 24th, it's already been archived in a playlist folder on my collaborations channel. Actually, it has its own playlist folder, JLA versus Avengers, where you can find it there and enjoy it on the rewind. We're going to get started with the Marvel side of this upgrades video with Vision and Scarlet Witch, Volume 1, Issue 1. This was published in 1982. Our creative team, Rick Leonardi, cover and interior artist, and Bill Mantlo is the writer. So the Vision and Scarlet Witch retired from the Avengers in issue 211, and this limited series, specifically this issue, follows up with that. They've moved to New Jersey and they've bought a house. They're ready to settle down and just have a normal life. There's a housewarming gift from Captain America, which is sent via Jarvis. Jarvis gets there and he ends up possessed by the spirit of Halloween. Want to clarify that it's the spirit of Halloween, not Spirit Halloween Store, because there's a big difference. At the very end of the issue, Whizzer makes a guest appearance as well. So that gets us started on the Marvel side of this Lassoed Loot 290 upgrades video. And we followed up with the same miniseries, issue number 2, same creative team. So the Wizard thinks at this point that Wanda is his child. Of course, we know better. We saw Wizard last in Avengers 186, but there was a lot of interaction about their paternity and stuff like in Avengers issue 164. Wizard is there because he needs help with his other son, Nucleo, who's in the hospital. And he's thinking, I need you to get him to the Inhumans, who might be able to help them. What Wizard doesn't know is the doctor that's attending to Nucleo is an old enemy of his. So a battle ensues when Vision and Wanda end up at the hospital looking into seeing what they can do to help Nucleo out. And by the end, Vision's arm is melted and ends up needing an amputation. So that's a little mind-blowing there for our second issue of this miniseries. We follow it up with issue number 3. So same creative team. As you're probably telling, I bought all 4 of these in a set together. Got the newsstand editions of them too at a very nice price. I was really happy with how bright and colorful the covers were on these upgraded copies that I got. So the energy transfusion from Wonder Man is taking place while the Grim Reaper attacks. We get a lot of recap too in Vision's origin. It's kind of funny that I'm talking about this series right now because a lot of these key moments and some of these characters and interactions like Wonder Man and Vision and even Grim Reaper, I talked about last week in my All Avengers Haul Lassoed Loot 289 video, which I hope you'll check out if you haven't yet. That video contains a couple Bronze Age Avengers upgrade comic books for me, and it has an AOK that has a really interesting, at least I think, a really interesting and cool story to it too. So if you haven't had the chance to check out that Avengers Haul video, I hope that you will. And I mentioned I bought these as a set, so you know that issue 4 was coming. We're still at 1982 for this. Rick Leonardi cover interior. Bill Mantlo remains the writer, like in all of the issues. This is the issue where Magneto first learns that he is the father of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And he ends up meeting Luna for the first time. That would be his granddaughter, Quicksilver's child that he had with Crystal from the Inhumans. The Avengers issue 234 flashback takes place right after this story, after the twins, meaning Pietro and Wanda, reject the olive branch that he's thrown out and kind of disown him as their father. He leaves peacefully, but promises that they will regret the decision, which to me sounds perfectly like something you would expect from Magneto. So lots of history all the way back to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Magneto and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I loved this miniseries, and these two have always been two of my favorite characters. So I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the second volume, 12-issue limited series they got as well. So that brings us to the end of this all upgrades video for Lassoed Loot 290. What was your favorite out of all of the comic books that I showed today? Leave me a comment, as your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Are there any comic books that you're upgrading? You can tell me about that too. I'd love to know in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll do so and continue to show support to me with your subscription. Give the video a thumbs up, a like, a heart, because the algorithm digs that. I mentioned Fanboys Live in the Retro Review this Sunday. That will be the next chance we get to visit. And of course, I've mentioned the back issue of the week as well, so you're all caught up with all things Magic Lasso. Thanks for making it to the end of this Lassoed Loot 290 video, where some comic books are so good they get lassoed again. I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.